busy? Mm-mm. Okay, let me run something past you real quick. I have no idea. Don't ask me why I just said that. It was in my spirit. That's what I felt led to do. Leave me alone, okay? You have a problem? Take that up with you and the Holy Spirit. Okay, great. Listen, I had it down low. You already know what happens when... because that's what's happening. So if you don't know this about me yet, I am a planner. It soothes my soul. It makes me whole. I did not mean to rhyme, but that's just the kind of time I'm on. You understand? Listen, just flow with me. And it is my favorite thing to do. And I posted the other day on my social medias. It was a comment that just came up in my spirit, and I was like, I don't think I want to make that a conversational piece. It was, what are you doing to make eventually happen? No, it's a rhetorical but not hypothetical, but also I want you to answer it. But like, no, seriously, like, have you ever thought about that? Or is that something that you can kind of like, wait a minute, I don't even think I kind of even gave that much thought. What are you doing to make eventually happen? Because I feel like we have misconstrued the definition of eventually. Like in our generation, in our times, eventually kind of feels like, yeah, it probably will end up happening at some point, but that point doesn't have a deadline. Like, yeah, I'll eventually get married. I will eventually get out of debt. I will eventually have kids. I mean, eventually I'll move to where I'll eventually go to vacation. Like, it's all of these, throw these darts into the sky of hope, and then you never really pinpointed a approximate when. So it led me to go ahead and do what only I know to do, which is to look up the term eventually. What does that word mean? And you already know I'm real close with the bishops over at the New Oxford American Dictionary and them folks. So I went ahead and read from that definition. And according to them, eventually is an adverb, and it means in the end, especially after a long delay, dispute, or series of problems. So what that sounds like is there is something in motion, right? Like there is a let's pull up, because I like analogies. Let's say a mother's having a really hard time in her first trimester of pregnancy. She is extremely nauseous. Okay, sleep feels like, bruh, I feel like I'm sleeping more than I'm awake. It's a lot going on. I can't get nothing done. Everything stinks. Everything tastes different. Why am I craving something I truly don't like, but I love at this moment? Pickles and ice cream don't go together. Don't at me. And, it's just, and so the proper advice would be to tell that mother, eventually you won't always feel this way. Even if it's second trimester, the charm, third trimester, the charm, or when you eventually have this baby. But to know that after these series of events, which is normally 40 weeks, maybe you won't feel this way then, but you know what? There's a timestamp on this. So I think our ideal of eventually being this hocus pocus, put it up on, the sky of hope parking lot, and then we never get back to it. No, eventually means that there is something in motion. There's a series of events that's happening, events that's happening. And then after those events, it eventually happens. And so the problem is that a lot of us don't have events happening. We don't have things in place to be prepared if the events are to come. I think we need to stop making eventually this very dreamy, utopic, once upon a time-ish kind of ideal. We have a saying in New York, because that's where I'm from. Yep. That if you stay ready, you'll need to get ready. And as gangster as that is, because every time I just feel like every time I say that statement, I automatically look down at my feet, and then voila, there's a pair of fresh Tim's construction wheat. You understand? Because that's just like, if you like, just listen to that. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Something about that just changes the posture of a thing. Like, I'm sorry. And so in this time in my life, there's a lot of different planning of things that's going on. And I have the luxury of loving to plan, but I think that is the kryptonite for most. That's why eventually it never really happens. And so I broke it down and I was like, you know what? I truly think that there's two different types of people in the world. It's the ill-prepared, and then it's the I'm prepared. The ill-prepared people, in my opinion, like, I don't know, God bless those grandbabies. I don't know how those people breathe and walk at the same time. I don't, and this is, non-judgmental phone call, but at this time, that's exactly how I feel. How do you live life in let's just see what happens? I'll think about that when I get there. You know what? I don't really put too much thought into that. I kind of just, And it's like, I appreciate the very low vibration of stress that comes with that kind of posture. I'm sure those people don't have anybody's high blood pressure pill. I get it. Matter of fact, nope, because I know one person of mine that has that mentality, and no, it's very much high blood pressure in that person's system, so take it back. But I appreciate the lax or the relax that's supposed to come with that. Why give it too much thought? Just kind of like go with the flow. We'll see what happens. And while that may be cute, that doesn't work all the time. Because I have a litmus test. My theory is, if you cannot take a certain mindset and see that it works in more than one department, then in my opinion, it should not be a mindset at all. Now, you can do the, let's just see what happens when it comes to, what you're going to do tonight. You feel like going out, you want to go to the movies, you want to go. It's like, let's just see what happens. But when it comes to paying your bills, are you going to pay it on the due date? Let's just see what happens. Doesn't work. If you are planning a Thanksgiving meal, you need to get your ingredients, in advance. It cannot be let's just see what happens. I'll wait closer to the date. Something about that, let's see what happens. I believe that those people are just saying, I don't want the pressure of planning, so I'm just going to go wherever the wind takes me. And that is not a life well lived, in my opinion. A life well lived has direction, it has intentionality, and it is lived on purpose for a purpose. And I want to crush the bubble of ill-preparedness. Ill-preparedness is going to land you somewhere you didn't plan to be, because you didn't plan to get anywhere. You didn't plan it. You weren't prepared for it. And it's kind of just like, oh, how did I get here? That's where the wind blew you. I'm prepared. There's an easement that comes with that. There is an easement in knowing I didn't wait last minute to do my Christmas shopping. So I don't have to feel like I need to start fussing with the post office. I didn't wait last minute and feel like, I just got to get $100 more for this particular bill, because I was already prepared for that once I signed my name or contract or gave my yes in any capacity to this particular commitment. I didn't have to all of a sudden call 1,000 people and say, hey, I'm in a relationship. Oh, yeah, by the way, I can't talk to you. Because I was already preparing for whatever God was going to have for me. I didn't want there to be a blessing that was pending landing, because I had too many other seat warmers and things in my landing strip. There are certain things that it's like, do you understand the beauty and the exhaleness of being prepared? So I think, now that I can hear myself saying it out loud, that the easement and the relaxation comes from being prepared. Reflecting on the year 2020. That should be a curse word, right? Yeah, we should just be like 2020 and then don't say the rest because I can't. If you have not come out of that year saying, I will never feel this way again, from whatever you were feeling prior to that in 2019, 18, 17, you go all the way back, however you need to go back. But I feel like the indentation of 2020 in everybody's emotions, finances, mindsets, what have you, should have impressed upon you a special imprint of, I will never, and then you fill in the blank. I will never not be prepared when it comes to a financial emergency. I will never be that busy again in my life. I will never not have family know exactly where they stand and how I feel about them, and just have it. They're like, oh, you should know you my aunt. You should know know my cousin. You should know. No one should have to figure out where they fit in my life. I'm going to be very vocal about that. I no longer want to be in a position where I'm getting up and I'm going into this establishment every day and there is nothing in me that sparks joy. Something in you should say, I will never fill in the blank again. That the dumpster fire that everyone called 2020 to be, that you will never, ever, ever experience that again. That when it comes back around, that you'll be a different person. That when it comes back around, that you will be prepared. That when it comes back around, it will not find you ill prepared. I need for people to get to a place that they understand, God, I'm going to get ready. I'm going to stay ready. Whatever it is that you have for me, I'm going to go ahead and connect with you, because the one thing that I believe about God is that he's never going to give you something, a heart's desire, an idea, and not give you the steps that you need to take to go ahead and do so. Like literally, you need to go back to Proverbs and read the preparation chapter. There is an entire chapter in Proverbs that's just like, listen, you can make the plan, but God orders the steps. You can. And so all throughout my Bible, I have never read anything where something came on to someone and it was like, whoa, had no idea that was happening. And that was pretty much how their lives went. By the way, if you're like, what is the planning proverb? It is Proverbs 16. You want me to go ahead and read a few? Okay, good, because I see how you're looking at me. Listen, Proverbs 16, let's just read from chapter 1, or verse 1. We can make our own plans, but the Lord gives the right answer. People may be pure in their own eyes, but the Lord examines their motives. Commit your actions to the Lord, and your plans will succeed. Like this entire chapter, you can read it on your own, read your Bible, just really speaks to there is purpose in planning. But more than that, there is prosperity with being aligned with what God has for you. I have never, and I do not believe this. I do not subscribe to this, and I don't appreciate anybody condoning this. There is no such thing as, oh my gosh, I did not see this happening, because there are going to be some knowns that are going to occur in this thing called life. There's going to be something financially. That's why you need to be a good steward over your finances. There's going to try to be some type of health scare, which is why you need to eat appropriately to your body and to how God wired you. There are going to be some things that try to drain you. That's why you need to know what relaxes you, and you need to get proper sleep. And then it's going to be some relational issues, which is why you need to make sure that the people who are just draining you, that they're not in the front row of your life, your theater of life. There's just going to be some knowns. So no, you cannot dictate, you cannot prepare for every single thing, because you're not a fortune teller, but you can prepare and listen. As long as I'm on this green and blue muddy earth and I'm breathing in this good O2, I know that there are going to be some things that are going to occur just because I'm in a human shell. And until you get on the other side of heaven, this is just what you're going to be dealing with. So what are you doing to prepare for that? It's the question that I really, truly want people to start going back and being purposeful in their lives. And so it brought me back to wanting to read about the parable in Matthew 25. It was about the parable of the 10 bridesmaids. Now, Jesus was meaning for this to be something else. He was illustrating. I want to make sure it's kept in context. He was making sure that he was letting people know, what heaven would look like and those kind of things. And this was pretty much, in my opinion, a translation of what happens when you're living life and you're not prepared. And then you're like, oh, wait, God, I want to prepare now. And it's like, yeah, but you had your time. The time that I gave you to prepare, you didn't use that and execute that in excellence. So now the time that you're asking for in the back end, I can't give to you. But in this time, I just really want to focus on the get ready, staying ready portion. So let's just read from verse 1. Then the King of heaven will be like 10 bridesmaids who took their lamps and went to meet the bridegroom. 2. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were wise. 3. The 5 who were foolish didn't take enough olive oil for their lamps. 4. But the other 5 were wise enough to take along extra oil. 5. When the bridegroom was delayed, they all became drowsy and fell asleep. 6. At midnight, they were roused by the shout, "Look, the bridegroom is coming. Come out and meet him." 7. All the bridesmaids got up and prepared their lamps. 8. Then the 5 foolish ones asked the others, "Please give us some of your oil because our lamps are going out." 9. But the others replied, "We don't have enough for all of us. Go to a shop and buy some for yourselves." 10. But while they were gone to buy oil, the bridegroom came. Then those who were ready went in with him to the marriage feast, and the door was locked. 11. Later, when the other 5 bridesmaids returned, they stood outside calling, "Lord, Lord, open the door for us." 12. But he called back, "Believe me, I don't know you." That whole story, parable just makes me a little bit angry because it's real time. You ever had the person that is really, really good with their money and they're good financially, and then the people who are not always seems to come to them and it's like, "Hey, can I borrow?" And the truth of the matter is, it's almost like you have to pay for being the person that was a good steward over what God gave you. And so I feel like that response back that the wise bridesmaids said, looking at them like, "I don't have enough for all of us." I feel like society has made us do one or two things. It's either you look out for your people, everybody, you take everybody with you, your A1s, your day ones, and you just make sure everybody has it. And then there should be more of the other side of that, which is I planned to live a particular life to get to a particular point, and it didn't include you riding my coattail. Like, yeah, I understand that you keep having issues with where you live, but every time that I find a place to live for me, I shouldn't have to now figure out to make room for you because you have a, stagnant living situation. That as I am climbing the career ladder, or God is blessing me with finances that are increasing, I shouldn't also have to figure out when you can't pay that particular phone bill, or when you can't pay, like how I'm going to take some of my finances and go ahead and keep blessing you because this increase was for what God has for me to do. And if I have extra, extra is what it is, but it shouldn't feel like, oh yeah, and by the way, I'm going to need some of your extra. Because there's a difference with having abundance and being a huge blessing, and you just having it to the point that God is like, "Look, you done did good with yours. You set away for what I told you to set away for. Your house is in order. You did that, this, that, and the third. And now that you have some spillage, some overage, now you can go ahead and share that." There's another thing with it being like, so with what you have that is just enough for you, can I have some of your just enough for you? Because I feel like what ill-prepared people do, and they don't realize that they're doing it, or they don't care to realize it, is if you split your just enough, then we'll have just enough. And it's like, no. But I lived a life that required for me to have extra in case I need to support me. So if I give you my extra, then I would just have just enough. And so I really want to take and go to the ears of everyone who just looks to their left, looks to their right, and kind of like, you don't have it, so you figuring out where you can get it from. You don't have it, but you figuring out who has a little bit more than what they should have. You got a 2-bedroom apartment. Can I stay in there? Like, how do you didn't know I didn't want to make that an office? How you know I didn't want guests here and there? I didn't get that extra bedroom for you to be staying and doing this, that, and the third. And I may be speaking to something in particular, because I do not know why the Holy Spirit has that on me, but I really need to shake that ideal of, oh, you have it, so now I have my hand out. Yeah, but that same hand could have worked for exactly what I obtained. You see what I'm saying? I really want us to get ready and stay ready. I don't want us getting to a point in our lives that we are at jobs that we don't want to be in, that we are pursuing things just because it looks good on the outside but doesn't feel good in the inside. I don't want us in relationships that don't fulfill us. I don't want us to be a part of family members who don't go where we're trying to go. There are some people that you're going to have to say, you know what, you get the voicemail a little bit more than an average bear, because where I'm trying to go, you distract me. And I have all these respect in the world that the bridesmaids, the wise ones, didn't say, you know what, I'll give you a little bit of mine. If we all just give you a little bit, then maybe that will give you, just enough that you need. Because to be honest with you, the way that my heart is wired, I couldn't have seen somebody saying, listen, I don't have it. Can you help me? Because I know that I'm wired to be an encourager and I'm wired to be a helper, my first initial reaction would have been sure. But reading this parable, it actually taught me something different. Why do you now have to change your posture from I'm prepared to ill prepared because someone else didn't prepare at all? Why is it now that you have to scale back and, just because I've always been the type that, bro, if I got $10, we got $10. You understand? But it's like at this point, as we're getting older, can we not just think about heart? Can we think about purpose and position? Maybe the way that God has a true planner's heart is, I want you to get to a stage that you can pull anyone up on the stage with you, but I don't want you pulling people up while you still on the steps, because now both of y'all can stumble down. When you're in the airplane, and them stewardess tell you, they giving you the whole thing on how to keep safe and this, that, and the third. Them folks tell you, put the mask on, right, yourself first. And then you can help other people. Previously, when I read this thing about the 10 bridesmaids, I read this before like, that was mean. Why would you tell them to go ahead and go to a shop and go, you can go ahead and buy yourself? No, bro, you need to go ahead and go to the mall yourself. You figure out where the oil is at. Have a nice day. I was like, that was a little bit like, because we somewhere in there have read the whole or subscribed to the, we have to help everyone, or else, you have that crab in a barrel mentality, and it's like, I appreciate that if I got it, you got it, but I don't appreciate it if you're not where you're supposed to be yet. Like, really think about that. The bridesmaids who were wise, they didn't make it into the wedding yet. And you want them to go ahead and spot you some oil that they have probably just enough for them, but you want them to spot you something and they didn't make it yet. People always want to ask you something in the interim. You didn't make it yet. So you want me to pull out of my pocket, pull out of my finances, pull out of my energy, listen, I remember going to sleep, being a single mom of 2 children, and people calling me in the middle of the night for advice and this, that, and the third. And it's like, bro, I got enough sleep just to be able to manage my household. You going to take away from that? And at that time, I didn't think about that. But it's like, oh my goodness, we, if not careful, will allow ill-prepared people to take away from our just enough. Yeah, because you're running out. You can't take from my just enough. And it's something in that. Even reading this to you now is a whole different revelation. It's like, oh my goodness, wait a minute. Yeah, if you look at it that way, it doesn't make you mean. It doesn't make you cold-hearted. It doesn't make you like, oh, you look like somebody who don't care. You only care about yourself. It doesn't make you selfish. It makes you look like a person that is living on purpose. Now, once you're in the wedding as a bridesmaid, and you're going ahead and you party. And then if the door was still open and there's some people that's like, can I get some of your oil? Yeah, I don't need this now because I have arrived. I have arrived. Stop letting people get to you, take from you before you arrive. You're trying to get out of debt, but somebody needs something paid. You're trying to go ahead and work through your emotional stability and your communication because you want to get married, and you trying to help so-and-so because she broke up with such and such for the umpteenth time, and you looking at such and such like, I already told you, brother, she's not the one for you. And you're trying to, you cannot row somebody else's boat while you're trying to patch your own. And maybe we need to get out of this mentality of saving everyone and just look at it like, listen, once I get ready, I want to stay ready. And if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. You know, maybe you circle back the next time you ask me for something. It doesn't have to be now I got to take out of my savings to go ahead and hand something over to you. It can just be like, oh, this was just lingering in my check-ins. Yeah, I got you. Do you see the difference in that? I want us to get to a place that we are like, listen, I'm going to get to where I got to get to any means necessary. I'm going to get there. I am going to get there. There's going to be time associated to it. But more than time, I'm going to be preparing along the way. And as long as I'm preparing, I'm not going to have nobody else ask me to get off of my preparation to help them to just have enough. Because what God gave me, I'm going to be a good steward over, because God gave me just enough to get to my next place. These bridesmaids didn't have a whole bunch. Bro, we both are going to the same place. We both want to go to this wedding. We are both waiting on this bridegroom. We are both in this place where we're like, we're waiting so long that we're all sleepy and drowsy. We are in the same place, but you're asking me to go ahead and scale back, to pull something away from me because you didn't do the same preparation as me. And that's another note right there. That's a download right there. Just because somebody is on the same path as you doesn't mean that they have the same passion as you. Because passion makes you prepare for something. There's a difference in saying, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go for that promotion. Yeah, but are you preparing? Are you prepared to take that promotion? You know, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to prepare to be a wife. I'm going to prepare to be a husband. Yeah, but you know what? Y'all could be at the same starting line, but how y'all run this race don't look the same. Only one of y'all going to finish. Yeah, you can't just go ahead and just roll over one day and say, I'm going to just run a tri-marathon. This is what I'm getting ready to do. Okay, both of y'all may start with the same ideals, but only one of y'all was in the gym with it. Only one of y'all was eating different. Only one of y'all was getting more sleep. Only one of y'all was drinking different. Only one of y'all was like, I would love to hang out, but I got to go ahead and get the set in because I'm preparing for something. So I want us not to be distracted by, yeah, but they're going where I'm going. Yeah, but they didn't prepare the way that you did, and you shouldn't feel bad about that. You should not feel bad behind the sense of, you stand at the same start as me, but guess what? You didn't prepare like me. I'm so glad that I wasn't born in that time, that this parable wasn't based upon the previous versions of me, because it would have read different. It would have read that we all was out there. You know, 5 of us were wise. I was in a wise one. Shouts out to me being that grandbaby. And, you know, 5 of them were foolish, and that's fine. And we're all going to the same route, and we're making our way downtown to the wedding, and we're waiting on the bridegroom. And then we got tired. So, you know, we got drowsy. And I made you yarn. That was my purpose. We went ahead. We got drowsy. We all went to sleep, and that's how that happened. And then I looked over to my right, and old girl was like, real quick, hey, Shawana. I said, my oil's getting low. Can I have some of yours? You know what my next line would have been? Yeah, sure, I'll give you some. I'll give you some, because I wouldn't have given all. I'll give you some. And then guess what? What I've done is put myself at jeopardy because I wanted to think with my heart and not with my assigned passion. My assignment was get to the wedding. My assignment wasn't make sure that everybody gets there with you. My assignment in life was make sure that you're financially out of debt. My assignment was not, and make sure you use your finances to help everybody else while you're doing that. Your assignment is fill in the blank. Your assignment is not take away from pursuing your fill in the blank to help somebody else. Although it seems like the noble thing to do, although it seems like that's the good-hearted person, it's actually not one of the wise things to do, because the wise bridesmaid didn't do that. And if Jesus gave this parable to show you the difference between someone being wise with their resources and foolish with their resources, I don't want to be the foolish one. I don't want to be the one that's asking because I was ill prepared. And I don't want to be the one giving because I gave away my just enough. Do you see what I'm saying? My challenge to you, and I feel like you probably already have it, but where do you need to get ready? And how can you make sure that you stay ready? Where is it that you need to go ahead and be a little bit better with preparing? And how can you make sure that nobody else takes you off that pedestal of being prepared? I want you to reflect on that. I want you to meditate on that. And I really want you to think and take that to prayer. Ask God, like, if I'm not seeing it, can you show me? Am I allowing my emotions to be the detriment to my purpose? Am I allowing my heart to get me off of the pedestal of staying prepared, staying ready? And whatever I'm doing that emotionally is not aligning to my purpose, can you take it off of me? Can you take it away from me? Because I don't want to be foolish. Do you see what I'm saying? If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. That's what we say where I'm from. But I feel like you got what you needed. You know what these conversations are about. They are life-provoking conversations that not everybody's going to have with you, okay, great? But being your favorite homegirl, who else is going to have these conversations with you? Who? As far as I'm concerned, that's the best reason for you to keep paying your phone bill. Okay, great? Ma'am? Sir? But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let you let me go. I am hungry. I hope you didn't hear none of my stomach growling. And we'll talk later, okay? I know your phone number, so you got to pick up. If you don't, I'm going to take it as disrespect. No, I'm going to take it as disrespect. That's just what I'm saying. I'll talk to you later. Later.